It's Girl, Stop Apologizing. This is not her first book. She's written, I know one before this and maybe more. And she is like a phenomenal woman. Hey, my name is Cheryl Wilson, and I'm an artist, abstract artist. And I've done a couple book reviews, and I had several of my friends suggest a book to me to read, and then ask me if I would read it and give a short book review on it. And oh my goodness, I'm so glad I did. The book is by Rachel Hollis. It's Girl, Stop Apologizing. This is not her first book. She's written, I know one before this and maybe more. And she is like a phenomenal woman. I heard a interview her talking, and she's just jam-packed of extremely inspirational ideas. And I only read, I haven't finished her book, but I wanted to give like a synopsis on only like 10% of the book. But it's one of those books you have to read several times. She herself is a motivational speaker. She's an author. She talks a lot on TV shows and radios. She's a coach. She has her own website. She's just phenomenal. But in this book, the reason why this book is so different from other books, it's not just a self-help book. It's not just a book about how to set your goals. She goes into much deeper into that next step of what stops us from achieving our dreams, what stops us from our people who will be in our life that actually stop us from achieving our dreams. So she goes into all aspects of why people don't achieve their dreams or why they haven't achieved their dreams. And this has happened to me. It's like this inner voice inside us so many times that makes us fearful to achieve the things that we want to do. We know we want to do them, and it's a really strong desire. And I've met so many women that have told me, Cheryl, I want to, as an artist, there's so many things I want to do. I can't get the traction to do it. I'm also a health coach on losing weight, because that's a journey I'm on. And I've had so many women tell me they want to lose 30 pounds, but they don't know it's such a strong desire, and they just don't have the why there. They don't know how to take that next step. And I know for me, I have built several businesses from scratch, and I've helped my mother write several books. She wrote her books on paper and a pencil. She didn't have a computer. So she asked me to help her. And so my motivation there was for her. I wanted this for her so badly. I learned how to get her EIN numbers, take her pencil scratching, and I type them into a publishing software, Quark Express, and basically learn that overnight, send it to the publishers. They publish the books. And then eventually, after she passed away, I put one of them into an ebook. So, my motivation there was for my mother. In my own life, there's this inner voice that we all have a lot of times that stop us. So, even, people have told me, I'm going to be a new mother. What do I do? I want to lose 30 pounds. I want to write a book. And so, she goes into what's holding you back from doing that. There was an interview that I heard her. She said, what would you tell your younger self? And I thought that was just a really great sentence. So later on, you go back, and hindsight is, as they say, 2020. What would you tell your younger self? Would you tell yourself to sit back and wait, and those fears are real, or would you do something about it? Well, her book is that insightful that it actually teaches you some of the things to do to take that next step. And the extra cherry on the top is she does this and tells you to do it without apologizing. She shares how you have your goals and dreams, but so many times people get in your way, and you let those people take your dreams away. So what she says her book, her self-help book, can guide you from excuses to let go of, behaviors to adopt, and skills to acquire. And that's kind of it in a nutshell. It's not as simple as that, but that's kind of a recap. She balances back and forth by telling us how to tell us about our inner self. And I can't capitalize that on enough, because there are so many books out there that are self-help books, but her book goes much further and much deeper into the inner workings of inside us, all of us, on how to break that. She says that talents and skills are like any other living thing. They can't grow in the dark. A goal is a dream with its work boots on. And I know personally that to make our dreams reality, you have to be intentional about what you're doing. You have to take the steps beyond the moment where you think about the what ifs to decide on paper and get pen and paper out and write down concrete, intentional steps to reach your goals. This is where your dreams come true. And I can just hear Rachel adding that when I say, get your dream out from under the covers and get some legs on them. And I can hear her saying legs with work boots. So the first part of the book, and just as a little note, I think it's okay. I know it's okay in our life to have a coach sometimes. Sometimes we need a coach. I have a health coach myself. You can call him a coach. You can call him a mentor. I have mentors in my professional life. I have mentors in my personal life, and I have a coach in my journey of health. I am also a coach for other women to motivate them, and a health coach. So there's times in your life when you can do things on your own, but there's times when you need someone to just help get you going, help get you motivated, and walk the path with you. But Rachel tells you to your first week, one of the big things she focuses on accountability. But she says to sit down with a piece of paper and write a timeline of your week, what you do during the week, all your requirements in your life. If you've got kids, all the things you do for your kids, the soccer practices, if you go to work, when you go to work, the time it takes you to go to work, everything. Write down everything. And then look at your schedule and decide on 5 hours of your week, and 5 hours is the minimum. You can have more, where you can carve out 5 hours to start making your plans. And those 5 hours can be an hour every day. They can be 30 minutes. But a hint here is to try to take those 5 hours and make them hours where you are your most motivated self. So if you get up at 6 o'clock, set it and get up at 5 o'clock. Make that time there after your cup of coffee or your shower or whatever. Make that time part of your 5 hours a week. But those hours are your sacred hours. For me, I carve out about 7 hours during the week. I turn my social media off, my phone goes off, everything goes off. I go in my office upstairs and I spend those hours because I personally have to have that mental break between the right brain and the left brain. And my art studio is downstairs. My working office is upstairs, and I have to have those sacred hours so carved out that that's how I get all the things done that I do. She also says to take every week, look at your schedule, and some of those hours may have to be changed because you may have doctor's appointments or things. So take your hours and adjust them, but do that every week so you're not caught off guard. And there's so much more to the book. I've just barely hit on the power that's in there. But I wanted to close the book where a chapter where she talks about her insecurities. And an example of this is I wanted to start a YouTube channel for my artwork. And a lot of things I wanted to teach people. And my insecurity was my weight. And I let that stop me for month after month. Well, I can't do it until I lose weight. And then months go by, and I still hadn't got to the point where I still was insecure in front of the camera. Years go by, and so finally I decided I had to do it. Well, my first video, it took me weeks to edit it because I kept editing out things I didn't like. So we all have insecurities. We all have times where we have to start at the beginning. We have to build up. I mean, if you go back and you remember learning to drive the car, or learning to ride a bike, or changing your baby's diapers. I mean, when you first change that baby's diaper, you're going to almost, read a book and make sure you do everything right. Then after about 12 diapers, you're changing the baby diaper, you're answering your emails, you're, post out some doctor's appointments, and I'm exaggerating there a little bit, but Rachel uses the example of driving the car, and I'm guilty of this, and I know a lot of you are. You learn how to drive the car, and your hands clutched on the wheel, and you're very dedicated about looking and what you're doing. And then after a couple years, you're driving the car to work, and you're taking your knee, and because you're busy, with a cup of coffee, and fixing your phone over here, and things you probably shouldn't be doing, but your insecurities kind of go down by the wayside, and you get a little more secure. And so that's kind of the takeaway I got from her book. It's so much more in the book than I've even begun to share with you. But if you haven't read her book, if you haven't picked this up, it's a must read. There's, I may even have a second book review when I go back and read it again. It's one of those ones you got to read a couple times. But I hope this helps, and I hope as you go through and read it and have some things to share, you'll share them back to me. I'd love to hear what you've done and how you've grown. But it's a must read. I had to share it with you, and just enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Bye.